Hello friends, I'm Dr. Urmila Joshi. Welcome to this lecture on drug synthesis. Today we are going to see synthesis of propranolol and dicyclomine. So, over to synthesis. So, let us first see synthesis of propranolol. The structure of propranolol is mentioned over here. Can you see this structure of propranolol? Okay. Now, what I have done is divided this structure by using different colors. Have a look at this part. This part corresponds to alpha naphthol that you know. This part, the red part, corresponds to isopropylamine that you know. And the other part, look at this part, CH2, CHOH, CH2. Now this part, there will be two cations. One of them can be satisfied with Cl. Now look at this structure. If this structure exists, it will not exist in this form. It will exist in this form. Why? Is because in this form, it has all the atoms with their octet complete. Okay. So it doesn't mind losing a proton and forming a structure. Now this structure is known as epichlorohydrin. Okay. Now, when you look at the problem of synthesis, you will realize that you need to have alpha naphthol, you need to have epichlorohydrin, and you need to have isopropylamine. Now the synthesis of propranolol, I will try to teach you by a backward synthesis way. Okay. Look at this structure. Consider it like a mechano, and then you will realize that when you break this bond, you will get isopropylamine as one structure. Okay. And the second structure will be this cation, which, as I discussed, exists as in the form of ethylene oxide structure. Okay. And so, propranolol can be obtained by treating isopropylamine with this substituted ethylene oxide. Okay. Now, isopropylamine is commercially available, so no need to synthesize this. Now, how to get this substituted ethylene oxide? Have a look at this. When you treat epichlorohydrin with alpha naphthol, you know naphthols or phenols are acidic in nature. They can easily lose a proton. When they lose a proton, O minus will be formed. This O minus can attack over here because this bond is highly polarized. The electrons are towards chlorine, so O minus can attack over here, and the substituted ethylene oxide will be formed. Okay. Those who are not very comfortable by backward synthesis way, just have a look at this, the forward synthesis. Alpha naphthol, when it is treated with epichlorohydrin, HCl is lost and you get substituted ethylene oxide. Okay, this substituted ethylene oxide, when it is treated with isopropylamine, what happens is this lone pair of electrons on nitrogen attacks the terminal carbon. Okay. Why only terminal carbon? Is because this carbon is sterically more hindered. Terminal carbon is sterically not hindered. And both these carbons, being attached to oxygen, carry a partial positive charge and therefore can accept electron pair. So, this electron pair attacks the terminal carbon. As a result, carbon becomes pentavalent, it cannot. So, this bond breaks. This has to break. when this bond breaks, the resultant compound is propranolol. Okay, it does not matter whether you write it in a forward way or you write it in a backward way. So you will write this as the first step, this as the second step, and this as the third step, correct? Here, first step, the second step, and okay. Now, remember one thing, you can write it in any way. I personally find backward synthesis more appealing because here at least there is some structural similarity of the starting material with the product desired, but in some cases there is not. And in such cases, backward synthesis becomes useful. Okay. I hope you have understood synthesis of propranolol. Now we go to dicyclomine. It is always better. Dicyclomine is an anticholinergic agent. It is always better to write the structure of dicyclomine. As the name suggests, there are two cyclic structures in it. There are two cyclohexane rings. Okay, then there is an amine at the end. Now, this I am teaching by forward synthesis way only. Whatever you find comfortable, you can do. Okay, you start with phenylacetonitrile. Okay, this phenylacetonitrile, what is the characteristic of this phenylacetonitrile? What happens, this carbon, there is phenyl ring on one side, cyanide on the other side. So this carbon can easily get converted to a carbanion in presence of a base. So you treat it with a base and then treat it with 1,5-dibromopentane. Okay, so when you treat it with 1,5-dibromopentane, the carbon number 1 of 1,5-dibromopentane first attaches itself. There is a chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When the fifth carbon, it can also lose bromine and form a cyclic chain because this can form carbanion twice. So this structure, when it is treated with 1,5-dibromopentane in presence of a base, forms this cyanide. Okay, this cyanide, when it is treated with acid, first gets converted to COOH, and then when refluxed with C2H5OH, it gets converted to an ester. Now look at this and look at the final desired structure. You will realize that it is a different ester. This ester is different and this ester is different, but it is ester only. And so, what is the easier reaction to convert one ester to another ester? It is transesterification. So, you take this alcohol, take this ester. When you react this ester with this alcohol, transesterification will occur and you will get the desired ester. Now, again, look at the original structure and you will realize that this is the phenyl ring, but you don't want a phenyl ring, you want a cyclohexane ring. So reduce it. Reducing reagent should be chosen in such a way that it doesn't affect the ester. So H2PTO will convert this aromatic ring to cyclohexane ring and the resultant compound will be dicyclomine. Okay, I hope I have made things clear for you. My mail ID is there on the first slide. If there are any doubts, please mail to me. Otherwise, write this synthesis, understand and write this synthesis so you remember it better for the exam. I am Dr. Urmila Joshi. If you have liked this lecture, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell icon so that you get notification of any new lecture upload. Thank you so much.